Welcome everyone. We are meeting today. My name is Michael Sequeira. I'm the PGP batch of 2010, and we're bringing to you the ODS Connect series or the ODI Connect series. Now, this is in association with the IIM Alumni Association, and where we reconnect with alums. And today we have with us Sajan Sachdeva from the graduating batch of PGP 2016. Sajan is based in London, and we'll start with a little bit of introduction. I'd love to hear from Sajan, but Sajan, through this episode, will walk us through, his growing years, life at IIM Bangalore, and what he has been associated with for these years, both in with the institute and his interests in general around supporting students with disabilities. And we'd love to know his future plans in terms of contributing to IIM Bangalore, in terms of supporting the institute and definitely our students. So a warm welcome to you, Sajan. It's lovely to have you with us.
Thank you, Michael. It's a pleasure to be here, and pleasure to be the alumnus of this prestigious institute. Uh, about my journey, I grew up in small town called Jalandhar from Punjab, and that's where I did my schooling. Then went to Delhi University for my undergraduation, and then I went to Bangalore for my PGP. I grew up with disability of I have bilateral knee amputation. I lost both of my legs at the age of 9 to an electric shock of 11,000 volts. Uh, it's been an adventurous ride growing up with this disability and yet making it to these institutes. And after I'm Bangalore, I went to Flipkart and where I was a category manager for fashion accessory categories. Then I joined Amazon, where I have been doing where I've done category management, then program management, and now product management roles. In my current role, I'm based out of London, where I manage operations, tech, and strategy for the vendor experience space for Pan Europe.
It's lovely, Sajan. Sajan, I think so. What's really nice to know about your background is you come from a small Indian town, and you made it to UK, and you're living independently. Life is very must be a surreal moment for you, right? When you look back. So Sajan, you've been very very closely associated with you've been very very closely associated with sharing your disability and all of that. But growing up, your parents, when you had this episode of 11,000 volt shock hitting you and impacting you in your terms of your body, and you were
Mhm.
just 9 years of age, right? And most of us at that age, first of all, we are so glad that we have you with us. Let me acknowledge you've been a huge blessing to many, many people and an inspiration for many. But we're so glad to have you with us. And today, when you look at your life, when that moment happened where your parents really, must have been in shock, your relatives would have been in questioning about your reality, but then you as a child who went through that moment, um, because I am Bangalore is a much later, right? So in terms of your first few initial years after the electric shock, right? So if you were to give us a reality check about, what did life really demand from you? Was it a very challenging day? How did your parents motivate you? How did you grip to the reality and become the person you are today?
Thank you. Firstly, lucky to be alive. I have escaped death thrice in my life, and uh, this incident that we are speaking about was the first one. Where I got this electric shock, and considering I come from a small town, and this was pre-Google era where people did not know much about the possibilities, disability sort of meant a good semicolon or even a full stop in your life. Um, but for me, that uh, it brought the set of challenges it brought in. Like I was in bed, being very agitated throughout the day. I'm sure many people or the audience who have suffered some or the other form of disability have felt what I felt like staying in bed throughout the day.
Mm.
Um, and Yeah, there was an option to give up for sure. Even when I got the electric shock, my body was burning. there with all the flames around me, there was an option to say like, do I want to survive or not? Like, should I just give up? It's a very intrinsic feeling. Then even when I grew up, uh, or when I was coping with my disability, people around me had doubts like, what am I going to do with my life? But I think it's the people around you, or something within you that tells you like you are meant for better things. You are meant to do something. And no, this doesn't look like it. This doesn't look like it. That's all about it. So then you start to question, okay, what next? And that's where you, and that builds the building block for you. In fact, I was a huge medical liability also. I'm happy my parents didn't look at me that ways and still encouraged me to pursue my education. Uh, in fact, my mother pushed me to become a lot independent, and even, 9 years child, 9 years old child with disability, it's been natural to have that empathy. But what is unnatural and rather more difficult is to care for this child is to care for this child by letting the child become independent, or rather pushing the child to become independent. My mom told me, hey, like, you don't have legs, fine, you have your hands, go and get your own water. So that's how I learned to crawl
Wow.
without legs. So
Yeah.
and that very moment where I started to use my hands to walk around, um, it was awkward, but fine. It was awkward then. It's not awkward today. Um, so that's where I found my mobility. I found that okay, I can go and do things, albeit differently.
Yeah.
So
And really, really big congratulations to your mom and your dad. And you have a brother as well, right? So talk us to a little bit about what he did and what was his journey about, because he
yeah,
would have been your support.
yeah. So he is my buddy. So I was 9, he was 12 years old boy. Like, you barely have sensibility to understand, hey, what has really happened here. My younger brother has lost his legs, and but my brother really stood by my side. He really took great care of me. He would not plan for friends birthday parties, etc. He could go to all those. And when you have a younger brother who's sitting in bed and not going anywhere, he did sacrifice a lot for me and required certain sense of sensibility
Yeah.
to do that. And he was a great support to me. And I think my family rather fought with people who called me Bechara, and they said that no, you are not Bechara, you are just a very normal human being, and you would study, you would do well. We don't see a reason for you to not do that, without in fact creating that pressure.
Yeah.
It more came from a note of possibility than the note of to be.
Yeah, I think so. That sense of belonging that you talk to, because your parents would have accepted you for whom you are, and their dreams and aspirations from you didn't change the reality that your physical body looked differently, or your mind was still there, and you had still qualities of where they needed to nurture you in terms of the person you become today. Uh, now move forward to possibly the next part where you tell us about today you're graduate from IIM Bangalore. You're if you mentioned correctly in your intro that you wanted to work with brands like Amazon, right? And today you're doing some great work. Amazon has put out some stellar stuff about how you're a role model for even Amazonians, and and you've gone and done some TED talks as well, right? I've seen some of your TED where you talk about your life, and you're very and you wear shorts in public, right? So tell us a little bit, because students are listening here in terms of prosthetic legs, and they would definitely look for you for hope. So what was your journey like wearing prosthetic legs, and how did that increase your confidence, both both outside and inside, inside you? Because I do know that it's not easy to get transformed, right? But But then, how is wearing prosthetic legs added confidence and made you the person you are today?
I would say I learned this in my life with the challenges that I got. It's not about what you get, it's about what you make out of what you get. So my initial encounter with prosthetic legs was a little scary. I mean, of course it would pain, it would I would get injuries because of electric burns. My skin is hypersensitive. I get all these blisters. My skin is grafted. My body was 90% burned, third degree burns. So it was not a great experience when I got onto prosthetics. And in fact, my in my initial experience, I would hide my prosthetics. I would wear full pants even in summer, and would go to school. I would try not to limp, but that's inevitable. Like I'm bilateral knee amputee. Like it's inevitable for me uh, to not limp. So to limp actually. So I started. With a on a very very shy note, I would wear my full pants and would, even when I go to school, I would try to sit in some corner, etc. But eventually I think even during IIM Bangalore days, I was a little shy of my disability, and I would try to sort of wear full pants and try not to go in parties on a wheelchair. Even if, let's say, I had injuries, I would try to wear my prosthetics, go to a party, but dance as much as I can, agnostic of all the injuries. But that opened up in later in life. I realized that it is my prosthetics are not just a device. It is my identity. It is my statement. It is my fashion statement rather. My legs, if I just look at it, it's sexy to have these robotic legs. I mean,
Yeah, it
it's
is.
unique. It's unique to me. So I think it was not just about prosthetic legs. It was also about embracing my own identity. I embraced my prosthetics, and acceptance is the first step, right? As they say. But acceptance for me came in stages. I accepted my disability, fine. Then I had to accept my prosthetics, but then I also had to accept the fact that, hey, this is not a downer. It is rather a statement to make. So why not? And now I roam around in public in shorts. Um, I just love to wear my shorts, show off my prosthetics. Yes, the word here is show off. Why not? These are expensive
Yeah,
prosthetic legs.
yeah. Yeah, I just loved what you said in terms of the humor, but I do get the reality that it's not easy to be a role model. Now, tell me this, because IIM Bangalore is one of the leading, pioneers in terms of, admissions for persons with disabilities, and you said in your initial introduction that you're very proud to have got into an institute like IIM, right? So, in terms of your own journey, how have what was your awareness in terms of the institute, and did you feel the ODS was something that you knew about, or the ODI now, but did you know when you got admitted to IIM Bangalore, and if you can talk us through the whole journey in terms of inside life on campus, and what
Yeah.
were the support that they gave you?
Uh, I would say it outright. Not just the experience at IIM Bangalore, but my life would not have been the same had it not been for ODS, and now we call it ODI. Okay, I didn't know that, but
Yeah,
my life would not have been the same. And the office, like Raj Lakshmi ma'am, Khushbu ma'am, they reached out just when I got the admission, and my parents were very anxious. Oh, how I was gonna survive. Like Delhi is still fine. We can reach Delhi in a matter of a few hours or within the same day. But Bangalore is another ball game altogether. And they knew about the pressures of MBA, but what they did not, and I mean, they did not know, and even I did not know how I was going to survive the place with my disability. But before, I mean, all those thoughts could even overshadow us, ODS stepped in. The first step was they told me that, hey, you need to get this electric wheelchair and we will provide you that. That was without even me understanding how
Yeah,
big the
very nice.
campus is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very shy. I was very shy. I was shy in asking for any of that support, but it's not. It was not just an optionality. It was rather more of hand holding that ODS did for me. So first step was they provided me with a wheelchair, which where that actually made campus accessible for me. Otherwise, I
And
never.
and and it was an electric wheelchair, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which there are a lot of stories if you speak to my batchmates. I don't know if this is an official forum, how much can I talk about it? But I would have folks standing on my wheelchair, like being half drunk and just roaming around the campus. I've done
I
all
mean, those
sorts of
parties,
stuff.
yeah, those elsewhere parties are quite fun. But the humor is that they supported you, right? And
Yeah,
they accepted you for whom you are. Thank you so much for highlighting the journey and your
yeah.
life on campus.
I
Now,
also want to,
yeah,
sorry, I also want to highlight the MHU part. So I was assigned
yeah,
a separate housing unit versus hostel, because the hostel back then would not have been accessible for me.
yeah,
Eventually, a few developments came in, but back then
yeah,
I got a full-fledged uh,
yeah,
housing
yeah.
unit, which really supported me with my throughout my MBA.
Yeah. So, Sajan, I think so. What's really good to see is that your life on campus has been very positive, and the ODS has given you support, and your peers have been very understanding. But I'm sure talk us through a moment when you felt I am Bangalore, possibly as a campus, because the faculty members are very supportive. Did you have any professors who really were involved in shaping your experience? Did you have anybody from the place com, any special people who possibly you forgot to mention? This is your opportunity. Take a moment to think about it. Is there anybody, any particular course or professor or you know
Lots of them, lots of them, and I won't shy away from taking a long list of names, but let me give you the essence of that. Firstly, of course, ODS was a huge support. Rajlakshmi ma'am, Kushma ma'am, and then I mean, all my professors were very helpful. Not just like in supporting me in having access to classrooms. That's all very superficial stuff, and when I say that ODS changed my life, they changed. I genuinely mean it. It's because they changed my perspective in going and asking for things. I was a very shy person and I thought, okay, disability is my onus, and not anybody else's. So I need to deal with it. But the onus of asking is also on you, right? So
yes,
you need to go and ask for things. So that is the fundamental thing that I learned from ODS, that unless I won't ask, I won't get, and how I could think about parity or equity as you go about it. Not just
yeah,
I got support not just during my MBA. I got support even after that. So I had a massive surgery in 2016, the year I graduated, and I reached out to and there was no way for me to go to office because I went through the surgery where I had bit of tumor in my leg which had to be removed, and after that my prosthetics needed an upgrade, and the new prosthetics costed a bomb, which was even more costlier than my MBA fees. I don't know how much it is today, but ODS and IIMB alumni office, all the professors, without even me being, without even me realizing what they were doing in the background, they raised funds from alumni network for me. And within
very
a
nice.
week, I had all the access to funds, and I could get my prosthetics. I could start my career. Otherwise, I for after my MBA for 9 months, I sat in bed, contemplating, oh, was this life all about? Went to SRCC, went to AM Bangalore. Now I have this education loan, and now I'm sitting in bed.
Yeah,
So
Thank you for sharing that moment, because I can understand the the desire to progress. I can understand today where you stand. Possibly many people didn't know this movement, but thanks for bringing in the IMB Alumni Association, and we really want to connect with alumni, like yourself, people who've given back to IIM Bangalore, right? And now, moving forward, you got into the leadership program, graduate program for Flipkart. You were one of the few who got that opportunity. And talk us through life after IIM Bangalore. How have how have you continued to associate with the institute? And of course, we talk about stars at IIM Bangalore, where we network and we help our juniors. But in terms of your own experience as a mentor, participating and giving back to the alumni, giving back to as an alumni, how has it been, and what's your experience shaping into?
Yeah, I would say there is a lot that I have a sense of, owing it back to the campus. I really, I think I got more than I can possibly ever give back. So I feel, yeah, I feel very, very obliged to do that. But yeah, even after I'm Bangalore, I got support from my professors, from my network, in not just landing these jobs, but also managing them well. I remember speaking to Professor Anshuman Tripathi also. He's God bless him. He's no more around, but he. He also mentored me during my jobs, and it's for the love of that professor, and for the love of a few professors in operations and strategy space, that today I am actually in a space of operations and strategy. I never pick my courses thinking, oh, I want to be the finance guy. Okay, let me pick finance courses. I rather pick my courses saying, okay, this is the professor I wanna work with, or I wanna just learn from,
Yeah.
and that's how I pick my courses.
Yeah, you are somebody who is an Amazonian, and I am Bangalore alumnus, somebody who's given, again, I'm reminding you, TED Talks, right? So our audience out there, for students, who are listening to you, and who aspire to be one day, in your seat, what would be, some advice for them? Because many of our students think getting a day zero placement is great, but if we don't get it, then, we do feel disappointed, and we feel like life has just come to a standstill. But it really begins on day zero at Amazon, right? So walk us through some engineering work you're doing around AI. I know your interest is in, you have your own you're an entrepreneur as well. So talk us through really the pressures at working for one of the top companies, and how do you handle that stress, and convert that energy into something positive, for the organization, for your team, and for yourself.
Let me say a few things that are cliched, but they stand true. One is your grades are not going to matter. I see examples today where backbenchers started up great startups and DMLs are working with them. Same batch. So, no, your grades don't matter, first of all. But having said that, your passion areas, your interests do matter. You spoke about balance, right? So, let me be shameless here and admit that over last 9 years, 9 years of work experience. I worked at Flipkart, I worked at Amazon. Within Amazon, I did category, program, product roles in multiple teams, multiple geographies. Uh, Along with this, I had three failed startups. That's my journey, and so managing startups, not even one, but having like three failed startups along with Amazon, it's not something that. I don't think I can lecture on work-life balance as such, but what I can lecture you on is I can tell
Uh,
you that I enjoyed my journey.
How is the so let me direct a little bit, because Amazon does support persons with disabilities hiring,
Yeah.
at least, and they've hired you. So, but in terms of retaining you and growing you, what has been their contribution to your journey? Is it all your passion, your manager, or your team, or is it just beyond as a culture? Give us some real examples, please.
So in terms of, so Amazon does not specifically do anything to nurture the talent with disability. It is there, but it is more for the roles that are in operations in FC, and there are organizations that do manage the hiring piece of hiring piece of like hiring people with disabilities. But in terms of your nurturing your growth, you are very much on your own and you are very much responsible for yourself, just like any other individual in the org. And yeah, I would not claim that pressures or opportunities or challenges in front of me are any subpar vis-a-vis any other individual in the org.
So we're looking at, this is the last lap of the interview, right? And we really enjoyed talking to you. In terms of the ODI working in collaboration with the IIM Bangalore Alumni Association. Now we want, there are alumni who possibly are senior, veterans, industry veterans. There are founders. There are all kinds of, friends and colleagues all over the world of yours who will be looking at this video. Now, um, you said that you're interested in doing a workshop for our students, right? So what would be two or three topics where you'd like to commit to the ODI, saying that this is areas where you can reach out to me, I'd love to do a workshop. So I know them, but I just want to listen out in terms of what your interests are.
So I'm happy to firstly give it back, mentor, conduct these workshop for students. The three specific areas would be I am happy to touch entrepreneurship, AI, and product management. And within product management, or if anybody is interested in operations and strategy as a space, definitely I'm game.
Perfect. I thought you'll say so. Now, just to end it on a high note, I'm going to say some words, and you've got to tell me something from your life which resonates with that word. Okay? So, are you
Yep,
ready? All right.
bring it on.
So, I would say dreamer.
That's me.
All right. I would say adventure. You could also
Fearless.
say, sorry,
Fearless.
fairness. Okay. You could also narrate, particular hobbies that you have and all that. So, you know what I'm, yeah. So,
Adventure for
let's
me is boxing.
boxing. Yeah.
Yeah, boxing, swimming. I taught myself swimming. There was nobody ready to coach me because of my disability, so I I did that for myself. I taught myself how to float, and then eventually somebody taught me swimming. Boxing, yes, I am fighting a white collar in November in London. Total amateur. So if you see marks on my face, if you see me in November, just understand it. But maybe they won't be there.
Perfect. And I know that you've done this. You've learned these two sports right after you've started wearing prosthetics. So kudos to that. The next word I wanted to give you is passion.
Entrepreneurship.
All right. Uh, the last question, because all of us think that living abroad is a dream, but then in terms of comparison to India, how do you feel? Because is there a message that you want to give our students? Because a lot of us believe living in London is cool, it's glamorous, but without sounding diplomatic, give it out there straight.
I'll be very honest here. It's a totally personal call. It totally depends on individual, your needs, etc. Like world is your oyster. Go ahead, grab whatever opportunity that you get in India or abroad, like whatever it is. But having said that, for me, London made sense because of the cost of my disability. But I mean, the way my disability is, prosthetics in India cost a bomb. But in UK it's taken care by NHS. But the opportunities in India are like much higher than what you get in the UK. So it is always a mixed bag. Even when you stay in India, there are some things that you let go of, and even when you move abroad, there are certain things that you let go of. So diplomatic, I mean, I'm being very factual here. People who work in these cities abroad, they're also cribbing about a few things. They miss their parents, they miss back home, or there are more opportunities in India at the moment because India is a growing economy vis-a-vis what you
Yeah.
see in the West. So it's a mixed bag.
Did you enjoy Sergeant speaking to us? And it's been lovely speaking to you, getting to listen to your journey. There's so many things where you genuinely narrated life's challenges, and you've built yourself in terms of uh, converting those challenges into an opportunity. And today you live your life on your own terms. So you're an inspiration to so many people who go to watch this video. And we look forward to your contribution to working with the institute. Giving back in terms of the workshops and other avenues. And we hope that the students listening out, really follow your work closely and reach out to you as well. It's a two-way street. And if anybody's listening to this and they've not, they're in a similar state like Sarjan, where they need prosthetics and they're questioning life. Believe me, this episode has taught you that there's more to life, and we should really enjoy it.